Hello, this is Britton Hess from SGPN's The Daily Dog, and I'm here with another episode for you where I give out my favorite plays on Underdog Fantasy. If you're new to Underdog Fantasy, sign up with promo code DailyDog, DAILYDOG, at UnderdogFantasy.com or on the Underdog Fantasy app, and that's for a $250 deposit match bonus. So it's 50% of the amount you deposit. If you deposit $100, you'll get $50 extra in bonus cash. If you deposit $500, you'll get $250 in bonus cash back. I recommend taking advantage of these promos, obviously, because it helps you get a return on your investment. If you get an extra 50% to play with, you have a lot higher chance of turning a profit and withdrawing more than you put in. Obviously, you can't just deposit right away when you use these promo codes, but I think that should be understood that they're not just going to give you $250 for installing the app, that you can withdraw right away. But it is only a one-time rollover, so use it once, and hopefully you win, and then you can take that money out. And when I say hopefully you win, you should take advantage of the promos that Underdog puts up multiple times a week with lower picks. For example, we had a Freaky Friday with Angel Reese on Friday with lower than 4 or higher than 4.5 rebounds. She's averaging a double-double for like 13 games straight, or she's had a double-double for 13 games straight, I should say. That one was an easy square and makes the slip that much easier to win. If you're not following me on Twitter, if you're not following me on Reels, or on YouTube Shorts is what they're called, not Instagram Reels. I'm not on there at the moment. You get access to all these promo plays, and the promo plays I've released since the start of this show a month ago have yielded 164% return on investment, which is about $262 in profit. And if you are curious about my history on this show, go to my Linktree on my Twitter profile at Britton Hess. Click on it, and there's a spreadsheet that has literally every pick I've ever given out on this show, results tracked, what we're doing good at, what we're doing bad at. It's all right there for you to take advantage of. 100% clear if you want to see how this show has been running. All right, last week was a good week. We had a profitable week. We hit some slips during the show. We got a little bit of a flex dong playthrough, and we hit some promos. So it was a good time to be paying attention to the Daily Dog. Let's keep it up this week. We're going to start out early again with Wimbledon. We've been on a good Wimbledon streak with our Wimbledon legs coming through for like 4 or 5 days straight on this show. We're going to start out with Novak Djokovic versus Holger Rune, higher than 35.5 games at a 0.85x multiplier. So I was looking at Djokovic to lose higher than half of a set, but that's a 0.7x multiplier, and I feel like you get a lot of that same upside with 35.5 games played. I think Djokovic is going to take care of Holger Rune, and I think he's going to win this match, but I don't think that it's going to be, lopsided affair where he wins in straights, or if he wins in straights, I think there's going to be at least a tiebreaker or two in there. So I think that this is going to be a sweat regardless of how this match turns out. I already said I think Djokovic wins, and I think that he loses a set on his way to winning. But and I think that those two things line up for this going to higher than 35.5 games. Holger Rune has actually a pretty underrated serve. I think that, he's not like a huge guy like Giovanni Pericard, who's 6'8", or, like Hubert Hurkacz, but Rune can still hold serve pretty well if he's focused, if he's locked in, and sometimes it takes him a few sets to get locked in, and against Djokovic, you can't necessarily always bank on having that time to get it together at the end. But I think that he'll be able to hold serve more often than maybe some people are expecting, and obviously I think Djokovic's service games are going to be deadly. His serve has obviously developed a ton in the later stages of his career. So, I think that higher than 35.5 games in this match is a good place to start off this slip. That is leg number 1 of our 3-leg underdog slip for Monday, July 8th, 2024. Next, we're going to go to an early MLB game. This one's starting at about 9:30 in the morning Pacific, 12:30 Pacific or Eastern time. Sorry, I got my little time zone math off there a little bit. But we're going to start with Mitch Keller, lower than half of a run allowed in the first inning against the Mets. It's 0.7x multiplier, so it's taxed a little bit, but the name of the game isn't to avoid taxes. The name of the game is to make money. We're here to win slips. It's really cool to screenshot your 150 to 1, slip out there. But if it's not winning, what's the point? So, we're going Mitch Keller, fairly conservative play here, lower than half of a run allowed in the first inning against the Mets. Keller's had 2 rough starts in a row, but he's remained strong in the first inning. He hasn't allowed a first inning run in 11 straight starts. The last time he did it was a home run to William Contreras on April 25th. So, yeah, it's been a while. Keller has had some ups and downs a little bit, but overall he's had a really solid season, and in the first inning he's been great. People haven't really been getting on base all that too much, and if they have, he's been able to navigate his way through it when he's fresh, when his arm is strong, when he's feeling good early in that first inning. And the Mets, the Mets lineup, they've seen Keller in their career, a lot of them have, and they haven't really done much. Lindor is 2 for 7. He's been walked 5 times, which is kind of scary. But 2 for 7 is not really anything to scoff at. Brandon Nimmo is 1 for 8 and been struck out 3 times and never been walked. JD Martinez is 0-3 with 2 walks. Pete Alonso is 0 for 5 with a strikeout, 0 walks. Francisco Alvarez 0 for 3 with 1 K, 0 walks. So Keller definitely knows how to navigate this top of the order for the Mets, and he's been solid in the first inning. So these first 2 plays are a little bit conservative, but I'm, like I said, the name of the game is to win slips, so I'm happy to put them on there. Novak Djokovic higher than 35.5 games versus Holger Rune, and Mitch Keller lower than 0.5 runs allowed in the first inning. The last leg of our show slip, our official show slip, is going to be a friend of the show that we've featured in multiple ways over the course of the month that we have been airing the Daily Dog, and that is Byron Buxton higher than 1.5 total bases versus Chris Flexen and the White Sox. Yes, it's righty versus righty and all that stuff, but Buxton has 9 career at-bats against Flexen, and he's got 7 hits. 3 have been doubles and 2 have been home runs. A 9 at-bat sample size isn't really anything to it's not something to write home about. I'm not really acting like, oh my God, he's going to hit 4 home runs in this game or something like that. But it is so hot that I kind of don't want to ignore it. And it also coincides with the fact that Byron Buxton is on a hot streak of his own. I don't fear Flexen as a starting pitcher. He's had 3 years ago, he had a good kind of resurgence with the Mariners, but since then he's kind of been the same old guy, not that good. He's given up 7 home runs in his last five starts. So yeah, he's struggling a little bit. And as I said, Buxton has been great against Flexen in his career, and Buxton has been great in his last several starts. He's had higher than 1.5 total bases in 5 straight games. The most recent 3 of those have been multi-hit games, so it's not like he has to do it all in one swing. He's a guy that can hit multiple singles in a game because he's so fast. It's hard to throw him out at first if that ball takes any time at all to get to an infielder. And he's got higher than 1.5 total bases in 8 of his last 10 games. Right now, Jose Miranda is the storyline on the Twins, rightfully so. The dude is setting records and breaking records that haven't been touched for centuries. As Miranda is taking these headlines, Byron Buxton just been quietly chugging along since June 7th, 1 month ago. He's batting .357 with 15 extra base hits. If we go just to the last 2 weeks, he's batting .424 with 5 doubles and 4 home runs. That's just 9 games. So, Buxton's hot right now. Buxton knows how to make contact versus Flexen. I'm happy to take higher than 1.5 total bases to close out this show slip. So, Buxton higher than 1.5 total bases with with Novak Djokovic higher than 35.5 games played versus Holger Rune, and Mitch Keller lower than half of a run allowed in the first inning with Byron Buxton is a 3.57x multiplier. So if you're risking $10, that's $10 to get $35.70 back. $100, that's $357 back. Whatever in between, whatever amount you risk on this, I really love this play. I'm very confident in all of these selections. Next, we're going to go to a little bit of a detour here. I'm going to give out a bet recommendation. It's not really a underdog thing. I don't want to just tack on a bunch of other crap onto it just for the sake of it. I just really like Danielle Collins versus Barbara Krejcikova in Wimbledon women's match to go lower than 22.5 games. These women are both very volatile. There can be big swings in this match. One of these, there's probably going to be a lot of breaks, and I think Barbara is going to get broken a lot in this match, and I think Collins' serve might be better. That said, I think that it can go the complete 180 degree. I just think that this is going to be a short match either way. Somebody's going to steamroll, so lower than 22.5 games in this one as a straight bet at about -110. Shop around for the best number, obviously. And now that that's out of the way, let's go quickly to everyone's favorite thing, the Dong Squad, the Daily Dong, the guys who I think are going to hit home run on Monday. As always, don't make huge risks on these bets. It's a flex play. Obviously, home runs are hard to predict, but if we hit a couple of these, things are beautiful. We hit one. We got 2 out of 3 last week, which was a nice little return. Let's see if we can do it again. Obviously, Byron Buxton is on the Dong Squad. His form right now, his history versus Flexen, it's all great, and it should be fairly cooperative weather. Next, we're going to go to Brian Reynolds of the Pirates, who's quietly, top 5 switch hitter in the league. Most of his home runs are against righties. He's a switch hitter when he bats left. He can hit them, and it's Christian Scott of the Mets, who I'm not too worried about. He's got 4 home runs allowed in 6 starts. He's a young hitter or a young pitcher facing a pro hitter like Reynolds. I really like Reynolds' shot here. Lastly, I'm going Jesse Winker of the Nationals to hit a home run versus Miles Mikolas in the Cardinals. I mean, you can choose a bunch of different guys on this Nationals roster to try to hit a home run in this game. Mikolas obviously can give up the long ball, but Winker's been seeing it well right now. He's been getting a lot of contact lately. He's getting a lot of hits lately, and he does have power to drive that ball over the wall. So Winker's 3.5x multiplier added in this slip was really attractive to me. I think it's getting a little bit too taxed on like CJ Abrams and James Wood and those guys. So yeah, I like Winker. He's going to be one of the least expected guys to go yard here, even though he is a power hitter. So this Dong Flex, if it goes 3 for 3, is 43.87x return on your money. If it goes 2 for 3, 9.75x is the estimate, but that will depend on which guys actually get the ball over the wall. So that is it for me. Hopefully you guys have a great Monday. Hope you had a great holiday week and weekend last week. Let's get back to the grind here. Let's make some money.